Because if you turn on the evening news, America still seems like a pretty scary place.
Who is he? Is he dangerous? What's he up to?
What are you trying to pull, man?
Why are people scared?
Remember all the Y2K scares? Weren't we told that our very society was about to collapse because somebody forgot to type in a couple of digits on the computer?
There's going to be mass chaos and confusion.
Tonight, the countdown begins. All day, store director Rick Smith watched consumers get Y2K ready.
Batteries sell extremely well, the lamp oil, generators.
After sending the country into a panic, the clock struck midnight, and nothing happened. Or how about those killer bees that were going to attack America?
We're almost certain they'll arrive this year.
Schmidt expects the Africanized bees to reach Texas this year, cross into Arizona in about 2 to 3 years. He's concerned because the killer bee is overly aggressive.
They will follow you for half a mile.
The bees never came. Remember the first time you heard that someone had hidden a razor blade in an apple at Halloween? Before long, kids were not permitted to go out in the dark on Halloween and go trick-or-treating at strangers' homes.
A lot of people say they won't give out candy treats on Halloween. It's too dangerous, and they're too scared.
Well, guess what? There never was any razor blade in the apple. In fact, only 2 kids in the past 40 years have been killed by Halloween candy, and both of them were poisoned on purpose by relatives.
It was like a scene from a horror movie. This Hooksett man was mowing his lawn when a fox darted out of the woods and attacked his riding mower.
A warning about a popular weight loss supplement. What you don't know may kill you.
You ride them every day, but in an instant, an escalator can mangle you or a loved one. 7 on Your Side reveals why you may be riding a stairway to danger.
You might want to take some extra precautions. Keep a low profile. Don't go around dancing with a bunch of Americans in the streets. Make sure that you don't draw a lot of attention to yourself and the fact that you're American.
The nation's top doctor says 1 in 5 Americans suffer some form of mental disorder. The Surgeon General, David Satcher, pleads with people to seek help now.
The media, the corporations, the politicians have all done such a good job of scaring the American public. It's come to the point where they don't need to give any reason at all.
Today, the Justice Department did issue a blanket alert. It was in recognition of a general threat we received. This is not the first time the Justice Department have acted like this. I hope it's the last. But given the attitude of the evildoers, it may not be.
I just love these boulevards down here, though.
Yeah.
You don't get this in most of LA.
How come whenever
They're
I'm
all
out here,
gone.
though, I turn on the 11 o'clock news and, I hear, tonight in South Central, drive-by shooting, or tonight in South Central, this, that, or whatever. I mean, they're not making that up, are they?
No, they're not making it up, but they're choosing what they're covering. If you turn on TV, on the news, what are you going to hear about? Dangerous black guys, right? Mm-hmm. Unnamed black guy who, accused of some crime, or you're going to see pictures of black guys doing bad things and hearing stories about black guys doing bad things. And we've heard this our whole lives.
Now, the suspect is a black male in his 20s. We are told he has a large afro, sideburns. He was wearing a silver chain at the time.
Police say the suspect is a black man, 6'1", 160 to 180 pounds, about 35 years in age.
Suspect is a black male, aged 16 to 18.
The suspect is African-American. Police
say
the black man. Suspect.
The
Suspect is a black male.
A black man.
Black man. A black male.
Male.
Man. A black man.
Susan Smith drowns her 2 children. She tells people a black guy stole the car and stole the kids. And everyone at first bought it.
Some guy jumped into a red light with her car with her 2 kids in it, and he took off. That's a black guy, she said.
Black male?
Yes, ma'am.
And I told him I loved him. I hollered I loved him.
And it's just a tragedy.
The anonymous, urban, which means usually black, male, comes by and does this is the excuse for all kinds of things.
Charles Stewart, the lawyer in Boston.
Right, exactly.
Kills his pregnant wife, says a black guy did it.
Right.
Everybody buys it.
The suspect, described as a black male about 6 feet tall. Chuck and Carol Stewart were robbed at gunpoint as they left a Lamaze class.
It seemed the ultimate urban nightmare.
You know, the thing I love about this country of mine is that whether you're a psychotic killer or running for president of the United States, the one thing you can always count on is white America's fear of the black man.
We've heard the stories on the news and in the papers, and they have killed people. Killer bees, also known as Africanized bees.
I'm scared. I'm really worried with them.
Rosemary Shibley never expected a nest of Africanized killer bees to shack up across the street from her.
But I'm terribly allergic to them, and so are my grandkids.
They're originally from southern and eastern Africa. Dr. Warwick Kerr brought some to Brazil in 1956 and tried to mate them with the European bee, the kind that we're used to. But they got loose, took over, and moved all the way to the southern United States.
The main difference between a traditional honeybee and an Africanized bee is the bee's aggressiveness. If I was to do this to an Africanized bee's hive, I could have several hundred stings in a matter of minutes.
Danny Self raises the kinder, gentler European bees, and he's done the research.
The only way that you can tell the two of them is doing measurements on the body parts.
Quite frankly, the black community has become entertainment for the rest of the community.
Meaning what?
The entertainment being that the crime of the day, you know, if it bleeds, it leads, gets to be the front story, and then that becomes the perception and the image of an entire people, which couldn't be further from the truth, in my opinion. In fact, you'll find, I think most African Americans are quite adverse to gun possession. In suburbia, I think there's some notion that there's going to be an invading horde come from either the city or from someplace unknown to savage their suburban community. To me, it not only is it bizarre, but it's totally unfounded. And these pistols, curiously enough, weren't being taken off of kids in the city of Flint, but were being taken off of kids out in the out county area in the suburban communities. I
didn't think that's what you were going to say. I thought you were going to say that it's all these black kids in the inner city schools. They had these guns.
No, we've never really had many problems with the guns in the city. I mean, and not to say that we haven't, but we've had some. But that's never been the biggest problem. The biggest problem has been the gun possession by these adolescents in suburbia.
How'd you get a gun?
I stole mine.
Where'd you steal it from?
I stole it from a friend of mine.
Where'd he get it?
His dad owns a bunch of guns.
What were you doing with the stolen guns?
We went down to Detroit to try to sell them because I can get like $1.50 a pop for a 9mm.
Really? Yeah. Who are you trying to sell them to?
Anybody that would really want them. Mostly gangs and stuff like that.
Gangs in the city of Detroit?
Yeah.
Black?
Predominantly.
Yeah. So you're out now, you're okay?
Yeah, I'm free now. I'm completely clear.
You can keep selling guns?
Well, I can't really keep selling guns. It's getting too risky, man. Everybody knows me up here. You know, people want guns or drugs or alcohol. They come to my house, and that's just too much.
Yeah, too much hassle.
Yeah.
My favorite statistic in all the research I did discovered that the murder rate had gone down by 20%. The coverage, that is, how many murders are on the evening news, it went up by 600%.
The American people are conditioned by network TV, by local news, to believe that their communities are much more dangerous than they actually are. For example, here in this community, crime has decreased every year for the past 8 years, yet gun ownership, particularly handgun ownership, is on the increase.
Crime rates have been dropping. Fear of crime has been going up, up, up. How can that be possible? It doesn't make any sense. But it makes perfect sense when you see what we're hearing from politicians and seeing in the news media.
So we're right here on the corner of Florence and Normandy. This was kind of ground zero for the LA riots.
Right. You know, if a couple of white guys go down and walk around South Central, they're going to get killed, which I can tell you is a common perception. The odds that something's going to happen to us are really, really slight, minuscule.
Right. Okay.
But, you know, if you look up there, you get a different symbol of the Hollywood sign. It means something very different than the corner of Florence and Normandy for most Americans and most of the world. You know, it means glamour and Hollywood, except that we can't see it.
I can't see the Hollywood sign.
Right.
Where is it?
Right. You can't see it because of something that's probably much more dangerous for us right now, which is the stuff we're breathing.
The pollution that's blocking the Hollywood sign, we're breathing this.
That's far more dangerous than all the other stuff the media is telling us to be afraid of.
Right.
As we left the corner of Florence and Normandy, I noticed that a number of helicopters had appeared in the sky. Within seconds, the news media started to arrive.
So what's the story here?
I'm waiting. I thought you would know.
No, I don't know anything.
Sergeant just told me it was a cop with a guy with a gun, but they're not sure. That's all they told me.
Right.
So it's no action, like getting the camera down.
I just happened to see the chopper. I'm going to another story.
What story are you going to?
It's a near drowning.
It's a drowning?
Near drowning.
A near drowning.
Yeah.
How about the story about how you can't see the Hollywood Hills because of the pollution? Could you maybe do a story on that tonight?
Pollution, it's probably good.
Huh?
You found it good. You can't see it. You can't see anything around here.
If you have to choose between a guy with a gun and a near drowning of a baby, you can only be one place at one time. Which way? The gun. You go with the gun always. Go with the gun. Is it all over here? All over? All over?
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet?
Say, just wait for these sergeants down here.
Yeah.
To come down because they got all the details.
Okay. Hey, I'm just wondering, I just got here to LA today. I can't see the Hollywood sign down in the hills there, down Normandy. I can't see the sign because of the pollution.
Right.
Is there anybody you can go and like arrest for like polluting up the air?
Absolutely not.
Nobody?
No.
Why is that? Why is that, Sergeant?
Oh, he's fighting. For over a decade, there has been one show on American television that has consistently brought black and white people together in an effort to reduce our fears and celebrate our diversity. That show is Cops. I went to see a former producer of Cops and executive producer of World's Wildest Police Videos, Mr. Dick Herland.
You look liberal up in the dictionary, and I think my picture's in there somewhere. But, yeah.
So then, you know, why not be compelled to do, you know, a show that focuses on, you know, what's causing the crime as opposed to just chasing the criminals down?
Because I think it's harder to do that show. I don't know what that show would be. Anger does well, hate does well, violence does well. Tolerance and understanding and trying to learn to be a little different than you were last year does less well.
Does less well in the ratings.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe because we, in the television business, because we tend to demonize black and Hispanic people, then those watching it at home are going, I don't want to help those people. I'm not going to do anything to help them because I hate them now because they may hurt me. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I'm not sure that's what we're doing. I'm not sure we're demonizing black and Hispanic people particularly. I don't think we show black and Hispanic people as being criminals. I'd like to say not more often, but probably they are more often. But I certainly don't think we're certainly not trying to demonize black and Hispanic people.
We show them on the news, we show them on TV as pretty scary people.
Yeah. And I agree. I think I'd like to see that reversed as much as possible.
Start tonight.
Well, the thing is, I don't know how to start tonight. I don't know how to tell that story. Well, if I was smart enough to do that,
I'll pitch you one. Okay.
All right.
Do a show called not Cops, but Corporate Cops.
Oh, corporation man, hey, corporate man, we're coming out to get you, better run while you can. We're coming out to get you, better run while you can.
I love the idea. I don't think it would